The knocking started inside the walls before it started inside my head. By the time I realized the sound was saying my name, it was already too late. I live alone in a small, rented room at the edge of the city. One bed, one desk, one window that never fully closes. The first night it happened, I thought it was just the building settling. Old pipes, old wood. That is what people always say when they do not want to be afraid. The knocking came again. Slow, careful. 3 taps from the wall beside my bed. I held my breath and listened. The air felt colder near the sound, as if the wall leaked winter into the room. My phone screen lit up, even though no notification appeared. In the reflection, I saw a shape behind me that did not move when I did. I turned. The room was empty. The knocking stopped. From that night on, the room changed. Sounds lingered longer than they should. My footsteps echoed twice. The light bulb hummed with a low voice, hidden beneath the electricity. Every time I closed my eyes, I felt watched. Not from the corners, from the space directly behind my face. The first time I saw it clearly was near dawn. Pale light leaked through the window and painted the walls gray. A figure stood near the door, tall, thin. Its outline flickered like a broken image on a screen. It had no clear face, just a darker blur where eyes should be. When I sat up, it tilted its head as if curious. When I screamed, it stepped closer. The air grew thick and heavy. My voice died in my throat. The figure raised one long arm. The fingers bent the wrong way. It touched the wall, and the surface rippled like water. I felt the touch inside my chest, a pressure that stole my breath. Then it vanished. I did not sleep after that. Searched the room for signs of mold or gas or anything that could explain what I saw. There was nothing. I tried leaving the room, but every time I crossed the doorway, my head filled with a sharp ringing. Pain forced me back inside. The room had become a boundary. At night, the ghost returned. It sat at the foot of my bed. It stood inches from my face. Sometimes it lay beside me and copied the rhythm of my breathing. I learned that it did not like silence. When the room was quiet, it grew restless. The walls pulsed. Shadows crawled across the ceiling. So I played audio constantly to keep it calm. Music, voices, static. The ghost began to change. Its outline grew sharper. Its presence heavier. I could hear it whispering when the sound dipped low. It spoke memories that were not mine, names of people I had never met, places I had never been. Each whisper pressed against my skull like a finger trying to get inside. One night, the power went out. Silence flooded the room. The ghost screamed, not with sound, but with pressure. The walls bowed inward. Cracks spidered across the ceiling. The figure lunged, and its shape finally solidified. Skin stretched tight across bone. A face formed in stages. Eyes like wet glass. A mouth pulled wide in a permanent begging smile. It climbed onto the bed. The mattress sank under its weight. Cold soaked into my legs. It leaned close, and I smelled rot and damp earth. It told me the room was never empty. It told me it had been waiting for someone who could hear it, someone who would not leave. I begged it to go. My words shook the air, but meant nothing. The ghost pressed its forehead against mine. Images poured into my head. A man trapped in this room years ago, alone, forgotten. He had died screaming for someone to notice, to remember, to stay. The ghost did not want the room. It wanted a witness. The walls began to peel. Beneath the paint were faces, dozens, all frozen in terror, all watching me. The ghost pulled itself inside my chest. Its cold spread through my veins. My heartbeat slowed. A reflection in the window flickered. Its face stared back at me, wearing my skin. Morning light filled the room. I stood alone. The room was quiet, normal. I felt calm, lighter. When I looked at the wall beside my bed, there were faint marks, like fingerprints, pressing from the inside. Someone knocked. 3 slow taps. I smiled and waited for the door to open. If you enjoyed the story, please like and subscribe for more videos. Okay. Thanks for listening.